Hello. It has been. It may be a day apart for you because if I do decide to just upload these like one per day over the Christmas period, that again this would be so much more effort than I normally put into this channel. But conversely, like it's not really that much effort. That's just a scheduled release thing. That's literally like one button. I can just do that. So that's fine. That was very, very, very quick to load in. I guess it probably is. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, speaking of, I was telling you guys the story of earlier of us trying to work out how this person had cheated their money, and it was very fun looking at how much money they gained in each world and trying to work out what exactly was being done. Okay, so these three do spawn that. There are definitely more spawn spots here than I think there are. Because like all of last time I did not get them all spawned that close together. I'm pretty certain. But yes, I didn't commentate through my last time doing this, and I honestly thought I wouldn't do this again, but it just feels safer. So the strategy here is I'm going to try and clump up all of these spider eggs so they're all at one side of the arena. And like that. That's pretty good. That, I think, might be the next closest spot. But again, I don't actually know where all the spots are. I should probably either look at this, do it myself, or get someone to look at this world in Happy Flower for me to actually see the spots where these can spawn. But yeah, basically the idea is I'm going to get these all clumped up in one corner. And then I think it should be fine even if I fall off it. I think I just get teleported back. Unless there are different rules for this, for the Spider Queen fight as there are for normal Blockyard. But I think I would assume I would be fine. But anyway. Yeah, this is... This is the game, basically. I'm trying to clump them all up. I will then deal 5 damage to each. I think that's about as good as we get. So I'll now deal 5 damage to each of these. And I've really got to remember not to... if there's something so unnatural about finishing my attack combo on the second attack, but I have to remember not to do it, because otherwise I have to go through and do these all again. I don't want to do that, so let's just... Cool. Okay, so they're all damaged, and now I just want to take down the Spider Queen to 1/3 health. When she gets to 1/3 health, it will come time to, she will spawn in 2 smaller spiderlings, and by smaller, I mean they are obviously both significantly smaller than she is. That was close. But I also mean smaller, significantly smaller in terms of health. Than even normal spiderlings, although they deal the same amount of damage on an attack. But basically, at any rate, hopefully, the amount of health they have will be almost entirely irrelevant to me. That's the aim. Because I don't plan on letting them spawn. They spawn from a spawn egg, and if you smash the spawn egg before it spawns, then it doesn't spawn. I'm not entirely certain how intended a behaviour this is. Well, I suspect not. But essentially what happens is the eggs only become invincible after they have been hit. Which means, in other words, I get 1 hit on them, and then I can't hit them again, and I can't stop the spiderlings from spawning, which is why I want everything clumped up very nicely together, so I can, in principle, go through, do 1 damage to as many of them as possible, as quickly as possible, and then ideally, I don't have to deal with the Spider Queen at all. Oh, I don't have to deal with the spiderlings at all. Okay, so we go, we look, which one's spawning, that one is, and this one is. And now we just don't have to deal with that phase of the fight. I used to be so careful with firecrackers, etc. Firecrackers were such a commodity in this fight, I used to be counting the number I'd used fighting the first 2 spiderlings because I wanted 3 in order to, or ideally more, in order to fight the final set of spiderlings which would spawn out, because 2 spawn out initially, then 3 spawn out on your second wave. Why didn't that deal any damage to me? I'm going to heal up just in case the game decides a second later that it did in fact deal damage to me. Oh, please tell me we're not getting latency. I do... Latency in the Spider Queen fight is not something I want to deal with. That is, the Spider Queen herself, kind of fine. Okay, we seem to be back to normal. That scared me. I love how genuinely there's not really much in-game stuff that scares me, but the kind of metagame aspect, I can be absolutely terrified when I see suddenly things like the moment where I lost the previous run, and it was just me realizing, wait, this cutscene is far, far, far longer than I remember. And it's like, oh no, wait a second. I am... Wait a second, wait. I have autopiloted way too hard. Do I clump this up? I think I push this one in closer. Like, it's gonna take time to set up, but I think that time is worth it. Again, like, I don't even remember if I said it, but after the last video, I was like, I probably am not going to go through, like, this full, spider egg manipulation strategy again. Nah, screw that, I'm going through it again. If that makes this fight consistent, like, previously Hardcore U was just kind of a quite inconsistent challenge. And if I have strategies to make it more consistent, even if they take a little bit longer, I want to set the expectation that I will do them, even if it means I do fewer hardcore LU runs in general, because hopefully that means I get far more hardcore U runs where I actually reach an interesting point in the game, rather than just dying really, really early on, and then that gets sad. But yeah, also, for anyone watching this, anyone in the comments of this video, I'm just double checking that I have to have it record. I did, that's good. Yeah, for anyone watching this, I would be very, very interested in... I want this to be more of a conversation. How's your day going? Give me... This is not just a... Okay, let's rephrase this. I don't want this to just be, hey, leave a like, put comment section stuff. No, I don't... This channel... This channel exists for me to just post stuff, and if people enjoy it, they enjoy it, and Ninja LU existed at least somewhat to get eyes on LU. This channel, less of that. So, don't need to comment. DM me on Discord if you want. I'm not hard to find. I'm in basically every LU server. Yeah, so, like, but yeah, hit me with... Ooh, that's... Okay, sorry. Okay, this is me getting distracted. But yeah, like, talk to me. I'm interested in conversations. Let me know how your life's going. Let me... ask me for moderately deep and dark secrets. I can't... ask me overly personal questions. I cannot guarantee I will answer all of them. Because, like... Well, mostly for the reason that there is not much in who I am right now that I am uncomfortable with. There are definitely points in my life where I would have had far more stuff that I was uncomfortable admitting, but now pretty comfortable in who I am and the decisions I make at the moment. However, I had this thought the other day, is I was chatting to someone and they were like, tell me your deepest, darkest... This was, to be clear, this was on a first date. And I was like, tell me your deepest... I was like, I am pretty comfortable telling you just about anything you want about me. Like, and she was immediately like, which, okay, to be fair, correct answer. Tell me your deepest, darkest secret. Which, when I spent a little while thinking about that, didn't find a good one. It did later on. But kind of had the thought of, like, actually, there is a point to this, of, like, I am pretty comfortable in what any secret I have says about me. I have secrets. I'm quite comfortable with what they say about me. However, conversely, there's this whole difference between I'm comfortable about what they say about me because I know myself as a person in a totality, and I know how they reflect on the rest of who I am. Someone who doesn't know that and just like, it's kind of, you don't always want to lead with the bad, you know? I'm comfortable with the bad. I've come to terms with all of the bad. So that's all to say. Well, honestly, this is to talk, and because I like talking about things that aren't tell you in these videos. I do genuinely miss back in the day when it was just talking. It was talking about relationships between, like, viewing a relationship to one's job in the same way as a relationship to a person, because you know what? You will spend, if you don't necessarily work with your significant other, you will spend as much time conscious doing your job. Okay, not as much necessarily, but not far off. You'll be spending pretty same amounts of time with a job as with almost any other person in your life, unless you're spending a lot of time. And I say significant other, I'm aware that's also limiting. That's one thing I learned about myself in previous years. It's like, wait a second, there was a point after a relatively difficult breakup for me where I was like, oh no, I'm missing a romantic relationship, and I later realized, wait a second, no, that's just relationships. This is lockdown and being at a new uni and having no friends. And needing to form new friends, and then I formed new friends and was like, oh, wait a second, that wasn't just a breakup. So without limiting the only relationships that matter, a romantic relationship and significant others and whatever, you know, screw that. That's dumb. But yeah, a whole question, a whole thing of like, yeah, treating a job as like any other relationship, because you will spend so much time with your mind just focused on your job. And even if you are spending time with people you aren't close to, with friends and family, etc., you probably are not spending all of that time necessarily completely focused on them. Whereas you probably spend quite, well, okay, maybe this is me talking because PhD student, right? Like, my job is not something I can really autopilot on. If I'm a theorist. If I'm autopiloting, that is, I can maybe autopilot for a minute, like solving or rearranging equations. If I autopilot for much longer than that, that's not autopilot. That is just me sitting at my desk not working. I have to believe these things pick their spawn location. I once thought they kind of went around in a circle. It now seems surely they must be respawning randomly, because I would really like one to, I think it respawned there was the best part, and I think we had a spawn like there. I'd love it if it would just appear in a really convenient position, but no. But yeah, I did enjoy, like, it's disappointing that I can't have a back and forth with people in real time on here, but, like, such is the nature of video. But, like, yeah. I have loved those times in the community where I just get talking with someone absolutely random and they just have such cool life experiences. Like, honestly, you know what? Screw that. Let's not even limit that to this community. Let's limit that to the time I was joking back and forth with my Asda delivery driver. He asked what I did. I said PhD student. He was like, oh, what on? I'm like, okay, no one actually wants to know. I was like, okay, what on? And it was like, well, I do some things with lasers. And he's like, oh, that's cool. What kind of things? And I'm not going to go too much into detail on this because, oh, okay, let's focus. That's so stupid. Okay, we're just going to have to defeat one. Come on. It's at least, okay. Oh no, that wasn't stupid. Dang it. Okay, that's fine. I will explain what I was thinking in all that in a second. Basically, I should have damaged that one before starting to fight the Spider Queen. And I should also not just be running around. I should actually deal with this guy real quick. Let's wait until I've got health back off cooldown, though. Because this guy, I should more or less Yep, cool. Bait that out. More or less we stun lock. And then, yeah, heal up. Easy. And now we're done. This strategy makes the Spider Queen so much easier. But yeah, turns out when chatting to him, this guy used to work for telecommunications company Nortel, which was absolutely wild. For those of you watching this channel, if you have any interest in physics, which obviously I'm biased, I think it's cool, very, very cool. But physics or just science and sciencey areas of academia in general, I would highly, 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 if you haven't already seen it, recommend the YouTube channel Bobby Broccoli. Stop watching this video, go and watch his instead if you have not already seen it. He discusses basically, it's kind of, he's done a lot of documentaries on essentially academia gone wrong, which is really interesting for me as someone now in academia. But it was something I was interested in, I found cool long before I knew I was going into academia. That's not true, I'm just trying to hype up the channel. I knew I was going into academia for a long time. It's a long time, well, I didn't know I was going to make it in. And I think that's possibly the best way of phrasing it. I've been into this channel for long, long, long before I knew I was actually going to get even this 3 years temporary PhD job in academia. Like, it's just a very, very cool channel, and it is so interesting to hear kind of the almost more historical and quite often personal side of the science, and also, yeah, where science does go wrong, where people manage to submit fake results. Whatever. Great channel. Would fully recommend. But he did a video on Nortel. Northern Telecommunications, I think it was. This is basically was Canada's answer to Silicon Valley. This was going to be what put Canada on the map. And I don't really want to spoil this too much, but I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say that Nortel goes out of business by the end. And yeah, this guy told me about, like, yeah, he used to work at Nortel and like talked about a ton of the stuff he did. It was so cool. And it's just like, and I don't want to go into specific examples with people from the LU community here, because I don't know how much of, like, people sharing information with me on a voice call is one thing, me then putting that information in a video, that's very, very different, so I don't want to do that with people in the community, but it's always so cool to hear what people in the community do. And there are, like, so many people who are so interesting, so talented in so many ways. I mean, okay, Ginger is someone I know I can talk about this with, because she's been on a video where her day job was very much in view. Artistic Soulless Ginger, or Artistic Soulful Ginger, depending on the name you catch her with on the particular server you catch her on. Interior designer, but like, that means that, like, we're talking and she's discussing, oh yeah, this is like, I'm literally laying out the inside of, like, this school or something. And it's like, that is wild. I am, like, just, what? I sit down at my desk all day and do equations, and you are literally, like, designing schools which people's formative years will be spent at. That is so cool. So yeah, like, I love hearing from just, I want to say I love hearing from other people. That doesn't imply that those of you on my channel whose names I recognise because you've been in the comment section before, that doesn't mean I don't want to hear from you, but it's this, everyone, people are so cool, and it's, I love getting to hear just random stuff people do, and yeah, and just thoughts, experiences, things to talk about. Yeah, basically, if this channel exists, I might as well have a conversation with y'all. Because, well, probably more fun for you guys if I'm talking about stuff you're interested in, because I could spend a lot of time sitting and talking about academia. If I talk too much about academia, I will accidentally dox myself, so I've got to be a little bit careful on that front. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Of academia discussions and Bobby Broccoli videos, I have caught... This is just scary. Like, this isn't important. This isn't something incredibly important, but I have, like, recently caught two people about to go to, more or less about to go to give presentations, and they have data on their slides which I've noticed is just not true. Would be the best summary of it. Now, okay, in both cases, the reason the bits that wasn't true about the data doesn't change the point they are trying to make, which is, I think, why they think it's fine. But it's like, oh boy, that is no, that's lying about your results. I have had to be like, no, you need to correct that. That is currently, I don't know actually the right term for it. Like, it's like you get taught about it in courses on academic integrity, but it's not. There's not really a like disintegrity. There's not really a word for that. But like academic dishonesty, I guess. It's like no, that's really, really, really bad. You cannot label. So the example I have is someone had a graph of I'm going to change the details slightly, but someone had a graph of essentially reflection, because okay, a very, very small amount of physics. When light is linear, which basically means if you take two light beams, they don't bounce off one another. They just pass through one another perfectly fine. This was incidentally one of the arguments made that light couldn't be tiny particles. Back when there was the debate between the particular/corpuscular and wave theories of light, back between like Newton and Huygens I was going to say in I guess the 1600s, but like it's really easy to remember Newton was in the 1600s because he did gravity during the plague, and the plague was ended by the Fire of London, which occurred in the year 1666, if I recall correctly, which is a nice and easy year. So yes, Newton 1600s. I should never forget that. It's kind of also just fun to put all the things in context of like years. Like we got calculus the same year they dropped the Great Fire of London update. It's not actually the same year, but yeah. Oh yeah, and the reason why it's not just the reason I can remember this is because it's not just coincidence, right? What helped end the plague, at least how I was taught this, and in retrospect, no, this definitely wasn't true. Like, the plague occurred around the Great Fire of London. I remember hearing as a kid that, oh, those two are correlated, right? You've just got this giant fire that burns down a ton of the houses, all the rats die. Cool, that's great. If London's the only part of the UK, which is, okay, as someone who was brought up in the South, I apparently just didn't question as a kid, and didn't even, question that story, that little bit of history, until literally right now saying this. Yeah, okay, that's... And, oh yeah, I doxed myself as being the South of the UK, you can hear my accent. But yeah, I have gone so... I'm trying to retrace the steps of this conversation. Oh, yeah. Yeah, basically, light obeys this property called linearity, which says if you double the amount of light in, more or less, you double the amount of light you get out of something. If I shine a torch at a wall and I turn the power up twice as much, I expect to get twice as much light reflecting back off the wall. Technically, power is not the right unit I should be using for that. I should be using electric field strength. There are subtleties. We're not going to worry about them here. Basically, that's roughly the key point. If I double the light I send in, I double the light I get out. And therefore, what we tend to measure, and what's a very good quantity to measure, is a transmission coefficient or a reflection coefficient, which tells you, of the light I get in, what proportion of the light do I get out. And if things are different coloured, then it means that this transmission coefficient depends on the colour of the light or the frequency/wavelength of the light. Basically, blue is higher pitched than red, roughly speaking. And different materials respond differently to different frequencies of light in actually a very, very analogous way to the way in which wine glasses respond to different pitches you sing at. A wine glass shatters if you sing at one pitch, it doesn't shatter if you sing at another. There's more I want to do on that analogy, but I shouldn't. Just because I will distract myself, and it's something you guys probably aren't very interested in. But At any rate, yeah, it's often very, very key to basically work out what color something is. I'm kind of heavily oversimplifying, but kind of not. Certain things will reflect very strongly at certain frequencies, and this can often tell us a lot more detailed information about them, about what's going on internally, i.e. it can tell you how large the rim of the wine glass is if you know what pitch the wine glass shattered at. Also, let's just go over here and just enjoy this. This was actually something I noticed earlier today when I was fighting the Spider Queen, was that I was jumping. It was that I landed on one of her bullets, and my shadow didn't appear on top of the bullets. And what we've kind of discovered recently, I guess I could have worked this out before, but I didn't really think about it, is that the shadow has like it doesn't have the same physics as the player, and I could have worked it out from the fact that like the shadow doesn't obey the player's collision here. But it's really weird because we so often use the shadow to detect collision, and that is because it cares about physics objects rather than the visual meshes you see on screen. So like there is a reason we care about where the shadow goes, but it's interesting that whilst it cares about physics objects, the physics objects it cares about can actually be different from the player. And the nice example of that is we can stand on projectiles, the shadow can't, and there is something there. Something just sitting in Nimbus Station that the shadow apparently can stand on, and that the player can't, and we don't know and understand that. And then there are also times when it seems like the player clips through a certain tree in Avant Gardens, and the shadow itself gets oddly yeeted to the Shadow Realm. Anyway, this is all an aside, just as I noticed that. But yeah, at any rate, basically, I discovered that this guy has been taking his data and basically just scaling up this reflection coefficient until it gives 1. Because, in his mind, that doesn't change the results he's plotting, right? It tells you what he cares about is the colour, and how large the reflection coefficient is. That only tells you how bright the light coming back is. And he's not affected, like, the relative heights of anything. And so, in principle, that hasn't changed the colour he's seeing, which means it hasn't changed how large the rim of the wine glass is that determines the frequency of the light coming back out, whatever. But it's really important for a ton of other reasons. And, like, he obviously wasn't thinking about those in the moment. But it's been really interesting, and honestly, actually, the 2 bits of, like, data dishonesty that I've had to, like, handle recently, both of those have kind of been in this exact same vein of things. It's people saying, well, what we're interested in is the feature of the graph. I'm going to change what my graph says in order to make the feature more visible, which you can kind of do, like, because you want to plot your data in a way that makes very clear the feature you're trying to make. And if you're trying to make clear, well, this graph is very, very large at this one particular point relative to everywhere else, it's fine to rescale your axes. You just have to say you're doing it. You just have to literally put on the on your axes, just relabel, okay, this axis doesn't go between 100% reflected and 0% reflected. It instead goes between 50% reflected and 0% reflected, and that's fine. But yeah, it kind of came up twice in a row, back to back, and it's really interesting because you can kind of see, like, obviously, both people were not trying to do anything dishonest, but it's really interesting how it's kind of like, you can see how that could, like, lead you down a path of, you do that, someone calls you out on the data in a conference, you panic on the spot, and because very valid, if someone asks a question you're not expecting at a conference, this has not happened to me at a conference, it has happened to me outside of a conference, at a, like, seminar I gave, like, that's gonna happen, and you can get very, very caught off guard, and you can not give a good response, or the response you wish you did give. That whole seminar's a whole other story. I described it to everyone at my group when I got back as hopefully the worst presentation I ever given in my entire career. Which I think it is a good chance of being, because it was very, very bad. But at any rate, also, like, you can kind of see how someone might, if you panic at the conference and say something, you don't really want to go back on it after the conference, especially if other people have heard you say it, because that then makes you look even worse. And so it's, what do you do Like, it was a mistake you just made because you were trying to make something clearer to your audience, because that's all anyone was doing in either of these cases. But then you can kind of see how people, if you continue to push that further, how people do end up fudging data over really long periods of time, and suddenly these Bobby Broccoli documentaries suddenly make a whole lot more sense. And I guess I never finished on the Bobby Broccoli documentary front. No, I specifically didn't tell you much more about Nortel, aside from the fact that they crashed. And the really, really funny thing that then, shortly after I'd watched that documentary and chatted with this guy, actually no, this happened after I watched the documentary, but like the day before I chatted with this guy, I was teaching my undergrads, and discovered this is not the most efficient way, surely, to Dr. Overbuild. Teaching my undergrads, and realised that the room I was in, they had a conference phone, and it was a Nortel conference phone. It's like, that's kind of cool. That's like a fun piece of history to just stumble upon, of like, this company doesn't exist for reasons which will become very, 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 very clear if you watch the Bobby Broccoli video. You should also watch all of his other videos. They're great. I am definitely biased by my love for science, but also, I introduced my mom to these. She has had so many more hours than most other people of me talking about science, and still actually, which is enough to put anyone off of the whole science fiasco, but still really, really enjoyed these videos. I would highly recommend watching, because they are stories of science only insofar as the science provides backing to elucidate the story of the people within, which is there's a whole discussion here on science communication, and it's just hard. And I don't know if this is science communication. Well, it kind of is. No, you know what? I think I would say, actually, my mom probably has a better idea has more chance of remembering the concept of the island of stability, and the kind of rush for heavier and heavier elements at the end of the periodic table, based on this documentary about how Viktor Ninov tried to fake the discovery of such an element. I think that's a... So, you know what? Yeah, science communication was achieved. And I guess it's very easy for me to stand back and say, well, that's not real science. No, that's not 3 Blue 1 Brown style science communication. Incidentally, if you do maths and haven't watched 3 Blue 1 Brown, you should. It is don't watch stuff on topics you know the answer to, but there will be topics you probably haven't come across before. And it is a truly, truly beautiful channel. Honestly, I should have started doing shout-outs to all of the science channels I watch. There are some amazing science channels out there. You know what? Yeah, shout-out. One that's particularly special to me. Shout-out to 2Swap, which is a channel I absolutely love, because I first discovered them when I was interested in, I've heard Connect 4 was a solved game. I want to kind of learn a little more about that. What does the strategy look like? How does it work? How do you solve Connect 4? Tic-tac-toe is obviously quite easy to solve, but how do you actually handle solving something like Connect 4? And 2Swap did a very, very good video on it. Well, not on solving Connect 4, to be clear. He just had a series of videos on Connect 4 strategy. I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. I like the idea of understanding this game. I spent, to be clear, so much time playing Connect 4 as a kid. An absurd length of time, because it used to be... I used to go to an after-school club. That's, my school. But imagine it afterwards. And we used to play so much Connect 4 there. Whereas I used to play at the before-school club? What do we call that? I don't remember. Because the preschool club sounds well, not what it is. But yeah, I don't remember what he actually called that. Oh, Early Morning Club, I think it was. That's a throwback. That's a throwback. And you know what? If anyone manages to dox me from that, well played. If it turns out that is identifying information, you know what? Fair enough. Valid. Let's go. But yeah, yeah. I don't know if I have. This is absolute classic. That I just start speaking, and then I just continue speaking. Okay, I forgot to check before, but number of times smashed is still 0. When did that increment? Last time? Because I know last time playing, I swear that incremented at one point. And I, like, one point before I died, and, like, hardcore you don't just get smashed and not notice it. Like, that's kind of quite a big thing, and I swear it incremented before I actually got smashed. Unless it only happened afterwards and I've just completely gaslit myself, which is not entirely impossible, but seems moderately unlikely. Okay, this is the point where I should start thinking about what strategy we're going to go with. Wait a second, do I actually... Nah, I'll wait until we've reached an hour before I cut again, or thereabouts. It's not Minecraft. Jumping under that doesn't make you go faster. But yeah, I should start working out what I'm going to do with money. Because, okay, one thing that I did last time that I will be doing that was a really good idea, buying a ton of firecrackers. That just makes the, it makes taking out admirals so much easier. Honestly, I'm probably going to be less gung-ho with taking out admirals this time than I was last time, or take admirals plural. Take out the one admiral, I only need one for this. But I probably am going to be a little bit more careful with that this time around. Am I going to go and... No, I think I actually kind of like the route I did last time. So I think I might stick with this, which the route I did last time essentially being go through, like, do the minimum amount in Gnarled Forest you need. Imagine you're on a Crux Prime speedrun, whereas previously I would go through Gnarled Forest and I'd go to Pet Cove before I went to Gnarled Forest and kind of work from there. I think I don't want to do that this time. I think I want to play this as properly as not as properly as I can, because there were reasons for and against doing that. Basically, you can get an extra heart flag if you go to Pet Cove before Gnarled Forest. But the reason I don't want to do that is it just brings me closer to an ape than I really want to be. Like, I don't... If I can avoid it, I would very, very, very much prefer not to... Like, I have ways of... Basically, you need to complete a mission if you... I guess I could spring shoot up, to be fair. Can I actually? I don't know. I might not be able to. Basically, you need to... In order to get all the heart flags in Gnarled Forest, you need to complete a... I don't think you actually need anything in Pirate Cove, but you do need to complete a mission for Captain Jack Knife, who's in Pirate's Cove. So I don't think there are heart flags there, but I do think you still need... But you do still need to go there in order to get the Pirate's Hook, in order to let you into the race area. I can do that. So in order to get there, you need to get past the ape that guards the bouncer. Now, there are two ways of doing this. One's an old out of bounds trick that I had before I realised the ape is in principle not that hard to get around, but, like, I don't think it's worth it. When I run Gnarled Forest, I'm going to get Tough Buff Source, which reduces incoming damage by 2 to a minimum of 1. That would... Like, that's kind of huge. If I pick up some hardtack biscuits when I'm in Nile Forest, which I can do without any risk. That will put me up to, after I've completed Forbidden Valley and gotten the Tough Buff Source, that puts me up to 8 health total. Plus Tough Buff Source, each hit from a Stromling Ape is going to deal 2 damage. If I'm... Like, that way I could take, 2 hits back-to-back from a Stromling Ape and still be fine. I think I quite like this as a potential route, I think. Because, yeah, it just gives me so much... Like, I don't have to worry about running past the Stromling Ape. I am literally getting everything I can in advance. Also, maybe I just fight the Stromling Ape at that stage. Because I would be fighting the Stromling... Like, if I... yeah, there's a question of... But to be honest, no, I genuinely think it might be worth it to rush Crux Prime and getting the big one sooner. Because, like, all of this stuff is set up to, in principle, make Crux Prime easier, but I don't think the 1 extra hot is going to be... I don't think, with everything else I will already have, I don't think that's going to make as big of a difference. Especially when, realistically, I'm going to use... When I get to Crux Prime, I'm going to use Mission Refresh to get myself all the easiest possible missions to try and grind... for a big one. Like... Although, to be honest, I don't know what the easiest possible missions are actually going to entail. I mean, okay, there's one where you just get a ton of, like... It's all of the weak enemies. Like, it's Ronins, Pirates, Stromlings, and Mechs, I think. That's one of them. That would be a very, very good mission to go for. I want things, ideally, where I can stun-lock the enemies. I don't think I want to deal with Ninjago under any circumstance. I think that is asking for death. I have not even tried to come up with hardcore strategies for Ninjago. It has changed, but the original reason for this was just the fact that so I just don't want to fail this jump. Was the fact that there's the fact that engineers were just broken. No, I'm not here for the heart flag. I'm here to get, in principle, I could just get 3 hardtack biscuits and then complete the mission. I do want more, I think. Hardtack biscuits, let's pay attention to cost a little bit. It's 1,200, that's not too bad in terms of what I'm spending, but I do want to pay attention. That's a good amount of value out of it. It's a price pack, I'll take that. Also, I want to pay a little bit more attention because I was meant to go back to Nimbus Station. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I kind of wanted to go back to Nimbus Station first in order to pick up more explosives, which is fine. I think I probably did this last time, actually, if I'm honest. So I don't think it makes that much difference, but it was what I intended to do. Also, does this guy do explosives? No, he doesn't. Hardtack biscuits. The thing is, I might get a couple more, but hardtack biscuits aren't something I think I'm going to go through very quickly. And also, now they're easy to get at any point. My game plan has changed into, like, I can come back here anytime. I want the stuff that is going to make Crux Prime as easy as possible. Because, yeah, the aim basically is to get the big one. Because from the second I've got big one, I have range. I have range indefinitely. I can cheese enemies from out of range. I want as many hardtack biscuits as possible, so I can so I can tank as much damage as possible. In principle, in the long run, like, I can do, I think it's a daily mission for Wu's Tea. Wu's Tea is absolutely incredible. It's like, increases your total health by 5, heals you for 10 health. So that is like an absurd item, but if I recall correctly, it's also not necessarily easy to get. I don't actually remember how you do get it. I should be paying a little more attention here. But the aim is aggro this guy. Pull him over here. Do this jump. Throw big one. Come on, come on. Nice. Oh, no! What? Okay, I've got to be careful. Okay, noted. Okay, we are never doing that strategy again. Never doing that strategy again. Goodbye. What did you want? You just want me to get a certain number? How many did I get? Yes, okay, 5. I'll do this quickly. I'll do this quickly because it's easy enough. I've got the firecrackers for it. That scared me. That scared me badly. I should also... No, that's not enough coins to be worth going back over there for. Let's just clump up a couple of these guys. And I also should have been very careful that I was out of range as well when doing this. And I kind of wasn't. That was not the best I could have played that. It's fine. Turns out all right. And no hardcore LU run will ever be perfect. So I can live with this. Cool. Easy enough. And actually, no, it's you know what, I'll spend my last remaining firecrackers on just grinding out a couple of pirates here, because I'm going to want, because I can get very, very good value for money against these guys, and I'm going to want 15 Maelstrom infected bricks. Actually, if I'm saving money, maybe I don't. So the reason I would want 15 Maelstrom infected bricks is to complete a couple of missions for the ninja in the Great Tree. Nice. Okay, that's that completed anyway. I mean, yeah, this is value for money. In principle, I want to complete the missions for them, although do I? I'll use one more here. Basically, the idea is if I complete those missions, I get more money and I can spend more money on more tough buff source. And my idea is I just want, when I'm doing tough buff source, I can mess up. When I'm the tough buff source route involves one trick which is quite easy. The Forbidden Valley Gate skip. It is easy. It costs 2 to 3k per attempt, but it's fine. It is genuinely easy enough that should only take one attempt. That should never be a problem. Kind of the scarier thing is actually jumping back over the gate, because obviously the game never intended you. Any luck? No Maelstrom bricks. That's sad. Do I risk this? Will that guy aggro to me if I do this? The Admiral is the one I'm wondering about. Yes. I'm not doing this. I could deal with trying to get him to start his attack pattern somewhere else. It's not worth it. It is not worth it in the slightest. But no, not dealing with that. I could probably go a little bit further, make a bit more money. To be honest, I kind of shouldn't I? If I'm worrying about not having enough money for enough tough buff sources in Forbidden Valley. Now, you know what? I'm going to do something I haven't really done before. I'm going to try and just kind of proof of concept, just speed run. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I love this. So you give him 3, and he gives you back 5. It's like, bro, you said you were hungry. Why did you not just eat the 5 of those you had? Sure. Anyway, I love the occasional scams which are going around. There's the famous Milo snack pigeon scam as well, where he's just, because note, he goes right back into the bush after you've spoken to him. After you've bought him the 600 coins, is it? For party pants? I don't remember how much they are. I seem to recall they are more expensive than normal ones, but they're not very expensive. But he jumps right back into that bush, and then you later see him scam more players out of pants. I'm sorry. He's just making them buy clothes for him. In one very specific shade. You'd think that would have done something to the economy, really. But maybe it has. Maybe that's why those party pants are more expensive than most other pants. Maybe the increased demand, because he's been doing that, has driven up the prices. And you know what? Maybe he's got a deal with the vendor who's selling those party pants, whereby he artificially inflates the demand. The guy then sells the pants. They then make a split of the profit. Because otherwise, I mean, why would the party pants cost any more? Any pants can be party pants if you're brave enough. This is just my theory, a game theory. Okay, let's. Okay, what do I need? So we take stock here. Like, gonna actually pay attention for a second. Does he not? Noted. Okay. And this is fine. We can buy. I'm pretty certain we can buy healing kits from Olivia Nightshade. Okay, so I probably 50 of these. Like, I don't want to. I mean, running out isn't the worst thing in the world, but I don't want to skimp on these and like take out. I might need to take out multiple horsemen if I decide to go that route. No, but if I don't spend as much money, I need to. If I don't spend as much money now, I need to do less in Forbidden Valley when I get there. I've got to think about it that way around. Like, yeah, that's arguably a far better argument. So I actually don't. These will be then for fighting in Crux Prime, I guess. I still will want a decent number then, but I can always see how much money I need after. So, okay, I will need enough to take... this is more than enough to take out Horseman. Let's go with nice round 25. That took way too long, but sure. Then I'm going to want... I don't want to buy healing cherries. And I don't want to buy healing cherries because I want to be certain that when I put these in my hotbar, that I'm never going to have to swap to any other item further down the line. That's what scares me. So yeah, I don't want to go down the healing cherry route. Similarly, no hot chocolate for me, I'm afraid. Where's the wishing well here? Is there one? I don't actually. I can think of. It has Brick Annex energy. Oh, is there a bird pond by the Pet Cove portal? Is that it? I think that's it. I was thinking I could picture them. In Forbidden Valley, it is a wishing well. In Gnarled Forest, it's a boat. In Avant Gardens, it's a vending machine. But I was really having difficulty picturing what it is here. But it's this, isn't it? Who do we have here? We have Puka. Hello, Puka. Okay, yeah. I was hoping I'd get something I could sell for a decent amount of money there. I guess in retrospect, last time I also forgot I could sell bricks. They don't sell for a ton, but like, if I'm low on health, if I'm low on money, I can buy like this. Yeah, we've probably got 200 coins in there. That is 2 extra tough buff sources, but okay. So we don't think we actually want much more. I can stock up on Quixicles, but I might as well do that when we get to Olivia Nightshade. And then I also need to think about how many. I think I'm going to try and be clever about this. I think I'm going to go for four spring shoes. You want extra spring shoes just in case. It should take me 2. But for whatever reason, I could mess up. I want to have that tiny bit of security. I want to have some backup plan. So we just get more spring shoes, then we don't worry about them. But I think I do want to go with the statement that I'll be happy coming back. What is this? Oh, this Imagimeter. I was wondering because I was also thinking, wait, is there a wishing well in Nexus Tower? I don't think there is. I don't think there's one in Crux Prime either. At least not one that's springing to mind. Yeah, okay, let's head to bro over here. But yeah, I think we do this at the moment. Basically, get to Forbidden Valley as cheaply as possible, buy all the tough buff source, and we sort out money later. We work out what we're going to need for, what we're going to need money for in Crux Prime. We get money in Crux Prime. We can always hop back pretty quickly and easily to Olivia Nightshade. But I should actually. How much health do I have? Quite a lot, to be fair. That's 80, right? I'll still pick up some more, but to be honest, I don't think I actually... Like, realistically, I won't go through... I won't go through this. It's always worth it, I think, to have more. I don't know if that's... I'm not risking that is an equipable item and not a hotbar number 5 thing, because it... Oh, sorry. Yeah. Words, but yes. Okay, let's not go in there. Okay, cool. So, Olivia Nightshade, then we'll... So, Quixicles, good for convenience. We don't need them. Does she not sell? Okay, I guess we're going in. I mean, we're going to be able to buy 107 tough buff sources. No. We're here for a reason. We need the spring shoes. I was thinking about everything else, but we definitely need the spring shoes. So I'm going to get 4 of these. And then we just leave. Then we go. Because, yeah, you know what? 80 healing items... It just has to last me through Forbidden Valley as well. If I need 80 healing items into Forbidden Valley, I have died in Forbidden Valley. Like, yeah, in retrospect, the reason I took this route is because I had in my head that for some reason we were going directly to Crux Prime. I'd forgotten we needed to do this. This was not the most effective route. There is something very comforting about the fact that I can just autopilot in this game and everything will be fine. I do enjoy this. It's like, yep, I'm just here. I'm just going whichever way instinct is telling me, and it works. But yeah, this is why I was. This is one thing I've really been enjoying about Mirror's Edge, because it wore me out a little bit yesterday, but it's like, you know what? I'm actually like. I want to enjoy this game, so like I'm willing to put in the tiny bit of effort from my end to like buy into the immersion of the world and everything. Aside from when I disarm a guard and he nearly falls off a building and then proceeds to the physics proceed to get a little bit wonky. I allowed my immersion to be broken there because that was hilarious. But yeah, I really enjoyed how, like, you know what, I was getting into it. I was stressed out when I was under fire. I'm not under fire. Faith's under fire, and Faith isn't a real person. But you know what? Yeah, that was really good fun. And just given that, yeah, a lot of my gaming has been about breaking games, it's kind of rare that I don't. It's kind of rare to play a game where, like, that's not my aim. I am just here to feel something and really enjoy it. And that was really nice. Yeah, like in terms of games I've played in the past year, so I was discussing with one of my friends, it's been Celeste and Slay the Princess. Those are like the only 2 games I have spent any time on. Slay the Princess was actually quite fun because I did play it through with one of my friends. Oh yeah, also, screw going that way. I'm just going to do this. Like, we're talking about things that the end goal always being to make this safer. Why would I go the other way? This way is this is so much of a better way of staying safe. Okay, I'm still going to get, okay, in this case, experience, not coins, I guess, but like, I do still want to do a little, like, if there are missions I can pick up along the way, like, for instance, I will smash 10 Ronin, so I do want to do that. But yeah, Slay the Princess was that honestly was such a fun game to play with friends. Oh, LA Noire, I guess. But this is that and Slay the Princess are kind of for similar reasons of the fact they are very, very fun games to play with other people. LA Noire was we bought over New Year's because when hanging out at one of my friends for New Year's, his brother had LA Noire on his Xbox. When we were all hanging out, waiting for years, we found that and we're like, this will be funny. And we all got quite into it, and then we bought the game afterwards. So I bought the game afterwards so we could keep playing. But yeah, same Princess, very similar vibes. Well, not similar vibes to LA Noire, sorry, very, very different vibes. But also, again, as games go, in terms of like getting into games, LA Noire, I guess I could have really gotten into, but I got into a little bit less because it was my friends and I kind of having fun with it. And it's a little bit of a goofy game. It's not a bad game. Some of the crimes are certainly not goofy. But it's, I don't know. I guess maybe Mirror's Edge would feel the same way to me if I were approaching it from a different perspective. I guess perhaps this is more the way I approached it. And maybe just the fact that we were all quite incompetent. It's me on controller. Like, I have no controller skills, whatsoever. But, so maybe that comes into part of it as well. But whatever it was, like, which definitely was the case when we were, like, jacking whatever cars we played it a little bit too much like GTA. At least the bits of us trying to get in between places, of us trying to find the fastest or heaviest cars and drive them in weird places. One of us did once also drive over some evidence. That was really tempting to go up there, but it does kind of defeat the purpose. Okay, so I do need to pay attention. Okay, so this is the one I don't really want to do. It requires more Maelstrom bricks than I currently have, and also just a little bit dangerous. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how I feel. No, we won't. I need to commit to I'm really, really, if you can't tell, quite 50-50 on this. I'm strongly debating, do I just head? I can just head and get tough buff source now. I don't need to worry about doing this. Yeah, you know what? I was happy last time with getting tough buff source with this much money. All I should do I will probably get 10 Ronin before I get 5 Ronin helms. I should do that. I should pick up the kill 10 Ronin achievement. That is worth my time. I shouldn't push too far. It's just not worth it. Thank you. Auto aim. I should have been a little bit faster to heal there, genuinely. And we are coming up to Bill Shido. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I don't care. He is my enemy. He killed me last game. This is how I die in Hardcore LU. It is not always to enemies. Sometimes it is this guy. This guy right here. I hate this guy right here. This one. Because if I stand here, I draw the aggro of this guy. And if I talk to this guy, he puts me in a really long cutscene where I just stare at that portal, and that guy has time to shoot me twice. And then I die, and I lose my Hardcore LU run that was going really well, and I'm sad. And then I attempt to record a video. And so that video, I think will be funny to just cut off in absolute silence with that death. I think I stand by my creative choices on that front. But I'm then like, I kind of want to be clear that I'm not actually, like, that was a little bit for a joke. I don't want to Like, one of the things I have tried to make an important part of my life as I kind of grew up versus when I was a kid is trying my very, 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 very best to, if something bad happens, laugh at it. And I thought that would be a really funny way to end the video, and I'm like, that was. But also, I don't, like, positive outlook and everything, I don't want other people to be like, oh, like, Ninja got so angry and upset when that happened. Like, I want people to understand it's all fun. So you know what I'll do? I'll just record another little video afterwards where I just continue playing the game, like, continue going on that run. We'll just do some practice in Crux Prime, because, like, that's going to be valuable. That will be very, very valuable practice to have. You know what? Why, also, as a side question, why am I going and doing things that require me fighting enemies before I'm going and getting the tough buff source? Like, yes, it's kind of for achievements, but that's, I don't know, that argument's kind of wearing a little thin, if I'm brutally honest. Like, yeah, it's kind of worth it for achievements, but also for a little bit more money, but I've already argued that I think I'm fine with the money I have. Okay, I want to just aggro you if I can. How close to the bridge can I pull you? That will do. But yeah, so maybe I would have been far more into LA Noire had we not all been sitting around, several of us drunk, playing it. Like, yeah, maybe had that not been the case, maybe that's nothing to do with LA Noire, but whatever it was, it was. And Slay the Princess also just, like, that's. I don't think it's controversial to describe that as just a weird game. And it's a game where you are in a way constantly being pulled out of the fact that it is a game. I will not spoil it. Is a good game. I will not spoil it, and I will say when I say it pulls you out of the fact that it's a game, it's in a very, very, very specific way. My immersion was not broken. I did not care, but also, like, it is not like Mirror's Edge, a game where I am physically in control of my character at all points in time. And then you've got Celeste, where you are expected to die an absolute ton. That is made very clear very, very early on. So death itself has little consequence. The story is a story I love so much. I think it is a great story. And it is one that I'm very happy that I knew details, but I had very little of it. Less than I thought of that story was spoiled for me, which I'm very happy about. Celeste, good story. And just a very fun platformer. No, I have not beaten Farewell. Don't at me. Farewell is really hard. I'm sure I'm going to get some people who are very good at Celeste come out of the woodwork here. Which is fair, because, like, I 100%. If someone's like, oh, like, LU is really difficult, like, the monument is really hard, I would 100% come out of the woodwork. I will say, please, 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 I mean, I'm sure if you are really into Celeste, you will also... I feel as though Celeste is a community that kind of vibes with, yeah, this story is kind of good and important, so please do not spoil the end of Farewell for me. I would like to discover that for myself one day, and hopefully I do make it there. And hopefully, if I do make it there, it will be all the more poignant for the fact that I got very, 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 very stuck there for a while. Yeah, Farewell was so hard. It's genuinely quite rare, I think, that I have given up on. I don't know if I've given up on it, but that I have put down, that genuinely something has been sufficiently difficult that I have lost the urge to complete it. And bear in mind, so my initial run through of Celeste was if I saw a berry, I had to go and collect it. So I spent lots of times doing the slightly harder bits, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be pretty good. And I mean, it was fine when it came time to when it was like part of the game is okay. No, you actually have to collect all the berries now. You know what? That did make me better at collecting the remaining berries. Cool. I feel pleased with myself. It did not help with Farewell. Farewell was just really hard. If I am, I should say this is not. Yeah, I want to be very clear. This is nothing against Celeste. As a game, I did not realize that Farewell even existed. And I was very, very, very happy with the money I spent on it. Celeste is just a good game. But now I do know it exists, and it haunts me. It haunts me just like the time I had a dream that I made such a good Call of Cthulhu campaign that it gave me nightmares. And then that freaked me out. Come on, heal up, heal up, heal up, heal up, heal up. I can't get to my healing, I can't get to my healing. That should never happen. If I'm playing this properly, that should never, ever happen. But hey, I built one. You know what, whilst we're here. Actually, in principle, if I get this... I don't think I can kill this guy that quickly, actually. But in principle, yeah, if I could kill him before that respawn or despawns, that would be really good. Unfortunately, I'm not that fast. Whee! But yeah, so I'm kind of... I've mentioned this to some friends in the past, how it seems like... I really seem like I should have been I should be someone who spent a ton of... They should have tons of knowledge of cool, weird, niche video games, whatever. But oh no, this is bad. But I really don't. Okay. Nope, we just leave. We do not commit. We don't need it. I will just die. Yeah, it's kind of fun to go back through the list and look at the games which were significant parts of my childhood, and it's like, okay. Might I be a more well-rounded person and I played more games with a story? Possibly. Yes, that may well be the case. This guy, Smashmaster Foom, I assume is the one. Oh, and I do actually... Sure, of course. That's fine. That won't take too long. That won't take too long because I actually do want to... I just can't believe I didn't pick it up. But because I do want to complete Gathermaster Klex's mission. I think it's... Oh no, it might be Brickmaster Clang. Sorry, no, it is Gathermaster Klex. This is Brickmaster Clang. Yes. Okay. What is Brickmaster... Oh, Brickmaster Clang's the one who wants me to build those... the shrine things? I'm still not totally certain what they are. But right now, let's do Gathermaster Klex. Let's fight these Ronin whilst we're here. I can't believe I didn't pick this up. But that's fine, this is nice and easy. And you know what? Our coin count's going up quite significantly, which was the purpose of doing this. So you know what? Worth. We should have more than enough tough buff potions to last us the rest of the run. And whilst we are here, we can pick up a hot flag. which this heart flag is one of the, to me, the scariest in the game. Like, yeah, jumping that gap does not make me happy. Just because updrafts are really cool, but they can be jank, and you can die to their jank. Nice. So yes, I always want to be careful. However, I think, if I recall correctly, I did this before and it just worked. So let's try it. Yeah. Okay. I'm amazed that one's not spawning a Ronin right now. Genuinely very, very, very surprised. Good though. Okay, that's probably the, well, okay. Not necessarily the worst heart flag, but it's not the best. Certainly not the easiest heart flag, but to be fair, we've actually done most of the easy heart flags here. Right, I think. Let's see. Nimbus Station Achiever, Ninja Acolyte. We're missing one, maybe? One of the easier ones? Because there are two down here we'll get. Oh, no, I know where the... Okay, sure. This one's not too bad. I'd really prefer it if this... This one's not too bad. We'll get... Honestly... Okay. Okay, what's going to happen here is I'm gonna deal with that horseman yet again. But that's fine. Basically, and if I'm there, I will try and build the thing. And if I try and build the thing, yeah, basically, okay, I think I just do this. I think we're just going through this mission chain more like the previous time than I originally intended, but we've got better reasons for it now. Okay, cool. Taking those out because I might as well whilst they're on the way and they're all isolated. Now let's get you going. Okay, cool. I wonder when I learnt that you could double click to use these, because I have a very, very, very strong memory. Oh, wait, I might run out. Oh, that'll be funny. I have a very, very strong memory of being on a live stream and first being taught. That's bad, but that's as long as I hit 5, it's fine. That's not ideal, but should be fine. Quickly go. Okay, full imagination. We have one of these spare. Throw it, smash that, build this. Come on, don't respawn now. Shoot! That was exactly what I wanted to avoid. 5. Okay. I can still fight this guy. I'd just prefer it if I didn't have to. But actually, wait, can I stun lock him out of... I think I can. Okay, so this is fine. I need to heal up. Regen imagination. Get this. Quickly. Rebuild it. That jump was clutch. Do that. Dodge those. Finish it. Cool. Okay. Completed that. Now, ideally, I want to beat this guy relatively quickly. That was not ideal. That's fine. I want to pay attention to my imagination too. That. Cool. Okay. Imagination full. Run over. Break this. That guy will aggro to me. 5, heal. 5. Terrifying. Okay. We're not out of the woods yet. Not out of the woods yet. Okay. Okay. We're still not out of the woods, actually, so let's be careful. I need to go down. I'm going to use this, because last time, whilst I was there, I got sniped through the wall by a horseman. It didn't kill me, but it did scare the living daylights out of me. I may well draw aggro whilst I'm up here. So let's get out of here as soon as possible. I need to smash the gong. That could have been where I died. I shouldn't have done that, but okay. We're out. We're alive. We completed a mission I didn't anticipate completing. And it's enough Ronin to get on the journey back. But yeah, this is kind of interesting, because, like, in Mirror's Edge, I guess maybe there's an aspect that it's a first-person game, but I am feeling significantly more stressed, as, like, but in the game world, like, stress that I'm being shot at, etc. There have been times where there have been levels where it's been like, okay, this is genuinely kind of difficult. I am trying. There was one where I didn't work out that if you hit glass with enough force, you could smash it. That was an annoying level until I worked that out, because I just could not see how I was meant to move through the level. And so, like, there were times when stuff like that took me out of it, but like, by default, I was physically leaning behind cover quite regularly as a human. Because I was like, I don't care that they are programmed to miss however many shots. I still don't like the fact that there are so many shots whizzing past my head. Like, it was, I'm fully invested in this. Let's go. Let's also take a drink of water. This water is good. I like water. And updraft is scary. We don't like updrafts. What's updraft? Okay, I still don't... I didn't pick up that heart flag. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we came back here then. Hopefully that pushes... Hasn't... Okay, I might need to check the map for where the remaining ones are. It could be that there are 2 left, which I'm thinking of. And it could be that those aren't coming up in the news tab because there are... why am I going this way? No, there's a good reason I'm going this way. Yay. I know what I'm doing for a change. I mean, in principle, I always know what I'm... In principle, I could consciously always know what I'm doing. I just often forget to consciously think about what it is I'm doing when I'm playing OU. I am a Panda-style G apologist. Way too much of a fan of the Panda-style G. Though rip the monkey style G. Like, what happened to... Like, you've got one style G for every type of hammer you could have. Aside from the monkey. The monkey just doesn't get one. Why? That's mean. Okay, cool. Now we sell stuff. And we are, I mean, you can see we are going to be flush with money. That's why we did those missions. All of this can go. That can't go. Almost all of this can go. Get rid of the gem. Get rid of all 3 of those bananas for all 6 coins that's going to give us. I assume. Right. Assuming I know how much they are. Okay, cool. I guess I can do any more selling when I get there. Alright. This is where it gets scary. This is where we got to do the hard... wow. Okay, none of these should be hard tricks. And this shouldn't be something I can die when I do. At least I don't think it is. Also, I should have remembered this last time. I can sell castle models. And I do have castle models, because my autopilot picks those up when I am in... It's tight, but I make it. Yeah, okay, falling there would be bad. Glad I didn't fall. Okay, cool. Now we prepare to spring shoe. Nice thing about being hardcore is I don't need to worry about how much imagination I have when I spring shoe, because I'm doing fist spring shoes. So, okay, let's go. And this is why we bring just a couple more. Could I have done that in 2? Probably, yeah. Do I want to risk it? Let's say no. Okay, cool. So there are 2 heart flags I need to worry about picking up down here. First one is this. And I will never not retell the story about how I once got a character past this gate and then got them absolutely stuck here because I couldn't find a way past the gate for absolutely ages. We do now have a way back. And then when I eventually worked out the way back, I died immediately. I fell. I tried to jump on one of the rocks. The collision is not what it visually appears like. I did some ground pound stalls similar to what I am currently doing, but I did not manage to save myself, which was... What is it? Rattling. I can't tell. Is that you? It's no longer rattling when I move the desk slightly. Cool. All right. What are we doing here? Oh, I didn't do this last time. I'm a little annoyed they've just completed this. I mean, not that it's exactly hard for... Yeah, let's do it like this. I'm going to do it as I would. Wait, is there... Have they updated this? Does that brick now not spawn in? Do you now actually need to do this the intended way? I also don't have enough imagination for this. I'm kind of just hoping I can run back and pick some up. Should have done that before, really. But come on, come on, come on. Oh, no, no. You normally do it. You interact with the one terminal to spawn it in. Okay, cool. I thought people had done this. I might be misremembering how this works, but this is fine. And they have not fixed that because... Well, I didn't remember if... Yeah, I didn't remember how that works. That's fine. I'm kind of tempted to do a lap down there. Pick up the... Oh, no, I don't even have the mission that would drop that. Okay. So, no. We ain't there yet. Okay, cool. So, we... You know what? Let's... Why waste time? Let's tough buff source it up before I go and run through a ton of horsemen and possibly die there. I really shouldn't die, but there is always a chance. So let's go. Okay. Is there anything else we need? We're pretty good on Quixicles. We're really good on health. Bag of glitter. Again, I just don't see that coming in useful. It's just it's one of those items I just dislike. I might buy a couple just because never know when they might come in handy. So I'll buy a stack and because I don't think you can get them anywhere else. Sushi. Actually, they are. Sushi is kind of decent. It's not... It's not like a Crux Prime rip-off item. But I think for now, we commit. We commit to our game plan. I'm really tempted to sell the spring shoe, to be honest, to buy more stuff. Green Imaginite? Yeah, I can sell that. That doesn't actually. We don't get enough money from doing that. We might get enough from the spring. Yeah, spring shoe is enough for one extra. Do I keep the spring shoe on me? Probably not, right? No, I will. Because it is. I get one extra thing, but it is a lot more money down the drain. And I'm 50-50 on it, but it doesn't. This isn't going to matter one way or another. But let's demonstrate why we prepped the way we have. Hardtack biscuit, healing kit, tough buff sauce. But that I do not want to be, but okay. I dodged everything. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I dodge everything, and tough buff sauce has already run out, I think. I don't know. I don't really want to stick around to test it, if I can possibly avoid that. But sure, I just dodge everything anyway. Cool, it's fine. The key point is... yeah, it's something. It's just the aim of this is just to get as many items as we can, which can help us run through. Easy enough. Okay, cool. Not bad. Yeah, that was. I did get both the hot flags there, right? Or did I just forget to get the one behind the? Did I just run over there and run back? I think I might have. Yeah, No, I didn't. Okay. Which one did I miss? I'm gonna have to play the game of going through and working this out now, which is always a fun game. Let's not die here first, though. This is really bad. 5. That I got down to 2 health there. That would have killed me had it not been for the hardtack biscuit. And I just want to say that was a new trackpad issue. Like, that was, I right clicked and it treated it as a left click, and that is no bueno. Okay, so I'm actually going. Also, I want you to know that the my health decreasing back down to 5 there, like, set something off viscerally in my brain, because I saw, because it flashes the same way it does when you take damage. That it's fine. Okay. Whilst I'm here, I guess I just get remaining bags of glitter. The boost your imagination by 5, I can just see potentially being useful. I love how I'm 2 coins off of getting an extra one. That's fine. Okay, I've not. I got the one around the back. There's no way. Surely I missed getting the one around the back. I've just got to trust myself. And well, I actually went. Why the actual reason I went back to Kamikaze was because I wanted to just see, do I have a? Yeah, no, she doesn't sell. She doesn't sell a map, so I could see remaining collectibles, which means I'm just going to hop on Discord and find that, because people have made nice. Well, I was going to say made nice graphics, but they've screenshotted the maps, so they're available. Let me just double check there is nothing I'm forgetting here on this side of the barrier before I climb back over. If I then die climbing back over, this is a waste of time, but if I don't die climbing back over and there's something over here, that means I have to spend time getting more stuff. So yeah, no, not doing that. Okay, cool. Where is it? It's game help, pinned messages. It's like the very bottom message, I think. Yeah, collectibles maps. Thank you, Idifix. I don't know if this was originally you, but thank you for posting it now. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 past the thing. I think we have gotten all of those. We then have... which one's that? That's the one by the... That's the one by the dragon pet. Then we have the one over the air vent. I've gotten that one. We have the one by the... What? No, okay, we've got the one by the side of whatever the ninja in charge is. I forget his name. We've got... Where's the one... We've got the... Then we've got the one inside the crate, which I've already done. Did I forget the one? I think I forgot the one in the rock. No! I know which one I forgot. Oh, it's funny, because I would never forget this one normally, but... Okay, I decided today to change up my route coming in, and I jumped the gates rather than going the usual way around the gates. Okay, cool. This scares me every time. Every time. But I've noticed I don't need to climb as far back up as perhaps I once would have done, so let's just... Which does make me a little more stable, and now we just go and... Cool. I don't think I can die here. I don't really want to fall out. And every time I hit that invisible wall there, that terrifies me. But here we are. We have made it back out. Also, did that just... I swear something just happened in that corner of my screen. Anyway. Don't think we need anything else. I know the heart flag we missed. We get to leave. And I am not... accepting your stupid mission, Bill Shido. I hate you. With a passion. So much for this being a positive stream, but nah. My hatred of Bill Shido will remain eternal, henceforth. This positive stream, this isn't a stream, this is a video. Speaking of this being a video, it is a video that I did plan to end when we hit the hour mark. This is a 1 hour and 30 mark, and I think this is a good point to end, because it means I get to do a cliffhanger. I've never gone to do a cliffhanger before. This is nice and fun. It's a cliffhanger for me as well, because I don't know what's going to happen. Although, if anyone is following along with this, it's going to take you significantly longer to, well, at least if you're following along as it comes out, it's going to take you probably about a day longer to find out what happens, because I will probably post this a day after, because... I don't know, that just seems like fun. Do I post these all at once? Maybe I should just post these all at once. If you see the first one and decide you want them posted all at once, tell me. If you see this one and decide you want tomorrow's posted sooner, tell me and I'll do it. If I see the message. Depends on when these are being posted over Christmas. Anyway, yeah, cool, bye! Ah!